Nasser Hussain is someone who I have a lot of respect for. He is someone who I listen to very attentively when it comes to cricketing matters, his analysis, his opinions, because I know that with Nasser Hussain, whenever he speaks about a topic or whenever he speaks about cricket, it always comes back to logic and it always made sense. I am very fond of Nasser Hussain in that regard because I've watched him present on School on TV for a very, very long time. And for me, he's always made sense. However, I think it's fair to say that even to whoever you look up to and even to people you have a lot of respect for, it's okay to have disagreements. And that's just something that you can also take into life. You can agree with people, you can disagree with people, but one of the most important things in life is to make sure you always remain respectful. And I was listening to Nasser Hussain and Ramiz and Michael Atherton just before the beginning of the second test match between Pakistan and England, and I have to say there were a few things that I do disagree with. With Nasser Hussain, he was talking about Babar Azam and with him being dropped, and I'll first start off with the fact that with Nasser Hussain, he said that probably might have been a better idea to keep Babar Azam in the team. It's not good to drop players when they're on bad form, and especially with a player of Babar Azam's caliber and with the amount of things that he has done for Pakistan over the years, with his runs, with his batting, especially in some stages of his captaincy. He was able to give Pakistan a lot in that regard. However, like I said, it's okay to disagree with people. Nasser Hussain, I have to disagree with you on that matter. I'm an average cricket fan. I've been watching Pakistan and England and cricket for as long as I can remember. Now, I am not as influential or I'm not as knowledgeable in cricket as much as these guys. They played in the international format for a very, very long time. But what I can say is that I am somebody who has watched Pakistan quite intensively over the last couple of years. And based on what I have seen, I can clearly say that this decision to drop Babar Azam as well as the other players is the absolute correct decision. Now, I can understand for a lot of people, especially in England, when they watch Pakistan, they probably watch things on a very surface level. For Babar Azam, they probably thought, you know what? He hasn't done well in the last 18 test innings. He hasn't been able to get a half century. The most he was able to do was around 40 runs and 41 runs or something like that. So that was probably one of the reasons why they decided to drop Babar Azam, especially with the fact that Pakistan just hasn't been doing well over the last couple of years in all the formats, to be honest. But the thing is, Nasser, is that, and this is my message to him, it's not solely about the performances from Babar Azam. Babar Azam, we all know, is a very, very good batsman on his day. He's one of the best batsmen that Pakistan has produced in a very long time. I have no shame in saying that. And when Babar Azam is fit, when he's healthy, when he's mentally clear, he can produce very good performances. However, this hasn't been the case for him over the last couple of years. And the thing is that it's not just him as a player, it's also him as a captain, as a leader, and how he has affected the dressing room as well. To go back, we could go back a couple of years, or we can make it really simple and just go back to the T20 World Cup. When the 2024 T20 World Cup happened quite a couple of months ago, you see, when Babar Azam stepped down from the captaincy in the ODI World Cup, a lot of people were happy to see that Babar Azam had stepped away from the captaincy and decided to focus on his batting. And a lot of people were convinced that somebody else should take it over from it because Babar Azam had a lot of chances, a lot of opportunities. He's been a part of many, many tournaments, and unfortunately he wasn't really able to win anything as captain, whether it be any ICC tournaments or whether it would be an Asian Cup. He just wasn't able to do it. So the thing is that in the T20 World Cup, just before the tournament started, the captaincy was originally with Shaheen Shah Afridi. Now, Shaheen was somebody coming back from the PSL. He's won the tournament back to back, so he was really ready to go into that tournament as the captain. However, with the introduction of Mohsin Naqvi and with his decisions, Babar Azam basically took back the captaincy from Shaheen Shah Afridi. Now, what I'm going to say is probably going to be a very big surprise to you, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, what the hell is this? But I have to explain it in this way. So what happened was because as a result, when the team went into the tournament, there was a lot of drama, there was a lot of backlash, there was a lot of infighting going on between the team to such an extent where groupings happened. So players within the team got into their own little groups and huddles, and essentially it was like this group of players wasn't talked to another group of players and going back and forth. And as a result, that led to the demise in that tournament in the T20 World Cup, as well as the performances that would lead soon after as well. Now, you can put the blame on the PCB. I also put the blame on the PCB for their decisions. But the thing is that because Babar Azam took back the captaincy and because there was division within the team as a result of it, that has led to the performances we've seen today, especially after the T20 World Cup, the series against Bangladesh, what's happened now against England with the 823 that has occurred very recently. So overall, it's affected Pakistan very badly because you can see from all the players, if you looked at Shaheen, his pace has gone down. If you looked at a lot of the players, their fitness just isn't up to par. A lot of them are going into the grounds with pot bellies to say the least. So in terms of fitness, in terms of certain team selections, in terms of just the things that have been going around the dressing room for Pakistan over the last couple of years, Babar Azam has had a part of and a big effect to that, and those things have now accumulated into what we have seen today. Now, you could probably argue why this could be due to a lack of professionalism from the Pakistani players. No matter who the captain is, they should just get on with it, and I agree with you on that. I know that's something you should possibly be thinking. However, unfortunately, with Pakistan, and it's sad to say this, but professionalism is non-existent. And now, with everything that's happened with Babar Azam, the respect for him, especially in front of like Pakistan fans and especially across the world, has literally going down the drain. It's literally decreasing as time goes on, because even with him, his fitness hasn't been up to par, his decisions have been poor, and his batting has also gone down as well, as we can clearly see, because due to the atmosphere around the dressing room from himself and from also the other players in the team, it just hasn't benefited anyone in that regard. And because of this, that is why the PCB decided to take the step of dropping Babar Azam from this test series. Whoever's opinion it is, whether it will be my opinion or your opinion, very fair that a lot of people from England would come out with the idea that with someone of Babar's stature and with someone with Babar's abilities, that he should be backed. But the thing is that with Babar Azam, when he was captain, and I forgot to mention this, is that he was backing a lot of players and keeping players in the team due to favoritism and friendship and these sorts of things, in which had led to the detriment of the team, which prevented other players from coming through. For example, very recently we've seen Kamran Ghulam come out with a century, and 3 years ago Kamran Ghulam was a player who hasn't been able to get into the team because he batted in Babar Azam's position, and he was an individual that had the most runs in the domestic format. Now, it's very fair to say, look, this isn't Babar Azam's fault, this is on the PCB, but the thing is with the PCB is that even they have their own favoritisms and selections and stuff like that. So based on all these things, based on the dressing room drama and everything like that, it's not solely due to his performances, it's also due to the atmosphere that Babar Azam and Shaheen and whoever have basically brought into the dressing room. And for that reason, they needed to be dropped because it was kind of like a sigh of relief to everyone. Because I think you can agree that this sort of behavior from any country, any international team around the world is just not on. There's a level of professionalism that needs to be had, and unfortunately, these guys haven't shown it. And we can clearly see that if you looked at Pakistan intensively, what's been going on. Because if I were to give an example that pretty much brings it more home to you, look at Kevin Peterson. Kevin Peterson was one of England's best cricketers at the time, one of the best batsmen that I arguably would say England has ever had. However, due to what's happened in the latter stages of his career, due to the controversies that he's had, due to the problems that was caused in the dressing room, England took a step that said, no, this is not correct. We need to move on from KP and make a healthier environment for cricketers to come and play for England in, which I'm not disputing, and it was probably the right decision at that time. I'm not saying that what Babar has done is similar to that or equal to that in any regard, but I'm sure as a former captain of the England cricket team, you know very well how important it is to have a good, healthy dressing room. which creates good harmony between players. And unfortunately, with Babar Azam, that was something that he didn't do and was actually causing disharmony in that way with the longer that he was in the team, especially due to his performance and due to what he has done in the past. And I say this with the utmost respect for Nasser Hussain. He is somebody that I listen to, like I said, very intently. And I hope with what I've said to him that this message comes to him in some shape or form, so he can understand more on what's going on in Pakistan cricket with its regard. And if I were to go on to Ramiz Raja, now look, Ramiz Raja said something which kind of concerned me a little bit, he was speaking some facts in a way. He said that with Babar Azam, he was a player that is a superstar for Pakistan, and from a media perspective, it's really good to have players like that because there aren't many superstars that Pakistan have in this current moment in time. Now look, at this stage, especially with the amount of performances that Pakistan has gone through, at the end of the day, if we were to be really honest, we're looking at stadiums which are 90% empty. Not many people are willing to come to the stadiums at all to see Pakistan versus England play. Now England is a very, very big team in the international format, especially in tests. So why is it that people aren't coming to watch these games? Especially if you were to go into the stadiums, you would see more people from the Barmy Army than anyone else, and they'd be louder than any Pakistani fan in the stadium. And that would be something that's quite unheard of, especially in the subcontinent. And we have to be honest, there's less engagement, especially when it comes to the superstars such as Shaheen or Babar or Naseem or whoever, because if we were to be really honest, people aren't caring as much about Pakistan cricket compared to before. And the reasons why have already been stated, due to everything that's happened in previous tournaments, due to the performances, due to the same old players being picked over and over. And I would expect from Ramiz Raja to understand and to be a bit more open with these sorts of things, because at the end of the day, as great as a batsman that Babar Azam is, there's been a lot of things that even he has done which ultimately has led Pakistan to this point. So yeah, I thought this would be a pretty good idea. I wanted to make this video as sort of a message to Nasser Hussain, and just to give my thoughts on just some of the things that have been said prior to the match, because I thought it was really important to make some of those things clear and to give a sort of perspective from the Pakistani side per se. But yeah, hopefully this video gets sent to Nasser Hussain. I hope the rest of you also like what I had to say. If I was wrong in certain things, or if I was right in certain things, if you agree or disagree, that's absolutely fine. You can put it in the comment. But yeah, hope to see you all in the next video. Let's see what Pakistan does in this test. Bye bye.